Don't judge a book by its cover. Well, this couldn't be more true than the case of Colony Wars. At first glance, this game is just a mindless space shooter. Admit it, this is what you thought at first glance. But there are so much deeper mechanisms under the hood than you would think, and I want to tell you everything about this fantastic game. A console space simulation that actually challenges you, makes your decisions better, and give you a whole war to fight in? That was almost unheard of. But back in 1997, Psygnosis delivered exactly that with Colony Wars on the PlayStation. A game that mixes brutal space combat, branching storylines, and some of the most rewarding missions on the system. But how well does it hold up today? Very well. You could actually just stop the video here and go play it. But instead of rushing to play it, make yourself comfortable as we are going into deep space. Colony Wars was released in late 1997, published by Psygnosis, the same team famous for Wipeout. Where most console players were used to simple arcade-style shooters, Colony Wars aimed for something closer to the PC space themes of the time, like Wing Commander or X-Wing. But here's the thing, Colony Wars wasn't just a space dogfighting game, it was a dynamic, evolving conflict where your performance shaped the outcome of the war. And that's what sets apart from almost everything else on the PlayStation. In Colony Wars, you're not just a lone hero here, you're a soldier in an interstellar rebellion, and the fate of your people depends on whether you can fly, fight, and survive. The game takes place in a distant future where Earth's empire rules with an iron fist. Out in the colonies, resentment grows, and the League of the Free Worlds rises up in rebellion. We take on the role of the rookie pilot in this war, flying missions that will either bring freedom to the colonies or crush the League entirely. The story is branching, and that's crucial. Your successes and failures shape the path you take. Win a critical battle, and the League gains strength. Lose too many, and you are pushed into desperate, often darker campaigns. There are 6 possible endings, ranging from triumphant liberation to the total defeat. It is insane how many possibilities and replay value is here. And the thing is that it is really depending on your skills how the story will unfold. One mistake, and that's it. But the way the game tells its story is a bit mixed. Instead of a lot of cinematic cutscenes, most of the mission briefings are presented as text on static screens, which feels bare compared to how ambitious the game is. The lore is there, the stakes are high, but the lack of animated cutscenes makes it harder to feel the drama. In the beginning, it was a bit disappointing for me, but with time I realized that if I just read the story before the next mission, it is fine. Regarding the graphics, music and controls, the game is also very good. Despite this is a PS1 game, the ship design, the colorful lasers and weapon animations are very good. Just as the controls. What I really liked that you can customize the controls in many ways. This helped me to find the perfect control scheme. So, what actually makes Colony Wars stand out? The missions. This isn't just another arcade shooter where you blast wave after wave of enemies. Every battle forces you to think, plan and execute with precision. And when I say think and plan, I mean it. I strongly recommend to do the training missions before starting the campaign. Don't think that, bullshit, I know how to play a space shooter. The training missions will teach you the basic movement of the ship and how to use each weapon. The mission variety and design is where Colony Wars really shines. Each mission feels unique and you constantly be switching between different roles in the war. There are station assaults, where you're blasting apart heavily defended space stations while dodging swarms of fighters. There are warp gate defenses, protecting a communications array while it slowly powers up to jump through a warp hole, all while enemies throw everything they have at you. Also escort operations, guarding fragile transports or supply ships, making tough decisions about which threats to neutralize first. Also capital ship battles, flying between massive warships as they trade broadsides, taking out turrets or engines to turn the tide. And sabotage runs, using precision strikes instead of overwhelming firepower to disable critical enemy assets. And that's the beauty of it. Colony Wars is not a mindless shooter, it's a true test of piloting skills and strategy. And this is not an extra generation, fucking hell. If you just charge in and spray lasers, you get torn apart. You have to prioritize targets, manage your weapons, and think about the order in which you are engaging enemies. Do you go after fighters first to protect your allies, or disable a capital ship's engines to prevent it from escaping? Every decision matters. And make no mistake, Colony Wars is hard, brutally hard at times, but that's part of why it's so rewarding. What I mean here is the game is punishing you for not planning or if your skills are not good enough. The difficulty curve is very good. The early missions are easier, so you got a few missions to work on your skills. I constantly felt that I want to just give up, but at the same time I wanted to push through and just try it one more time, and when I succeeded, it was very rewarding. So, this isn't a game that holds your hand. If you fail a mission, the story keeps going, but down a different, other harsher path. And if you think, now that's, who cares, I just restart the mission. Sorry buddy, but it's not possible, and this is the beauty of it. You can only save after each act, meaning between 3 and 5 missions in a row before you can lock in your progress. That means you have to fly consistently well over multiple battles. One mistake can spiral into a whole new campaign. What a masterpiece. And as I said, your skills are really matters. Not just reflexes, but your ability to read the battlefield, manage your loadout and fly smart. Colony Wars demands your full attention, and when you finally push through a tough mission, the sense of accomplishment is huge. Let's talk about a bit how people reacted when Colony Wars was first launched in 1997. Critics at the time were impressed. Magazines praised its graphics with massive space battles and detailed ships that pushed the PlayStation hardware. The branching campaign was hailed as groundbreaking for consoles. Many reviewers scored it in the high 80s or 90s, with some calling it one of the best space simulations available. Still, there were criticisms. Some players found the difficulty punishing. Others thought the lack of cinematic cutscenes made the story feel weaker compared to PC titles like Wing Commander 4. But overall, Colony Wars was seen as a technical and creative success, and it gained a cult following. So, does Colony Wars still deserve a place among the PlayStation's classics? For me, absolutely. I really enjoyed my time with Colony Wars, even when it was beating me down. The mission design is so varied, the difficulty is so sharp, and the branching storyline so unique that it never feels like a typical space shooter. Yes, the text-only briefings are a weak spot, and yes, you probably fail missions, a lot. But that's part of the charm. Colony Wars doesn't just hand you a scripted story, it makes you earn your victories. I know, this sounds cheap, but that's true here, folks. And when you finally succeed, it is incredibly satisfying. It's not a casual game and it's not for everyone, but for players willing to take the challenge, it's one of the most rewarding space combat experiences on the PlayStation. Colony Wars isn't just about blasting enemy ships, it's about fighting a war where your skill as a pilot decides the future. If you want a PlayStation classic that tests your reflexes, your strategy and your skills, this is one worth revisiting. And the good news is, there are 2 more entries of this game on the PS1, so I cannot wait to play those as well. This was another good example that it is very rewarding to play old school games that are aged well. If I would not embark on my backlog quest to experience the best retro games out there, I would miss Colony Wars 2, and that would be a shame. So, if you love space simulations, try your skills out there. Thanks for joining me on this trip back to the golden age of gaming. If you love unearthing forgotten classics, or even the disasters, we got plenty more adventures ahead, so press start and subscribe to join the quest. The algorithm has dug up a couple of more relics for you. They're right here on the screen waiting to be discovered. I'm glad you stopped by, and I can't wait to see you in the next backlog quest.